Is this on? Is this on? All right, I think we're good.
It is on. If everybody will just indulge me for a minute because we have some new media members here for the afternoon session. Reminder to please silence your cell phones. When you have a question, please raise your hand, give your name and your affiliation. We'll get a microphone to you. Please wait till we get a microphone there. You are allowed one follow-up question as well. That being said, welcome to Buffalo and welcome Villanova student athletes Josh Hart, Chris Jenkins, and Daryl Reynolds from my right to left. Guys, welcome back to Buffalo, and we'll go ahead and take questions. We'll start with Dana right in the center.
Dana O'Neill at the ESPN. Josh, a year ago this time you were sitting up there and nobody thought you were getting out of this weekend. Now everybody thinks you're going to be repeat champions. So which is tougher?
I think that's a tough one. I don't know, there was a big monkey on our backs a little bit with just the first weekend thing. It was kind of weird this year not having to answer that question. I had to answer it the last 3 years, but it is what it is. Both of them are challenging. We just know we got to be focused and ready to play come tomorrow.
Go ahead, follow up, Dana.
I guess maybe then you don't know the answer to this, but if you are lucky enough to continue to go forward, do you think the second part of this will become more difficult, the repeat thing?
I think the hype will be a little bit more. If we're lucky enough to advance far into the tournament, so the hype will be a little bit more. So that will be something that surrounding us will be a distraction, and that's when we just got to focus on each other and not really fall into that distraction. We just got to be focused on playing Villanova basketball for 40 minutes. If we do that, we'll take the outcome.
So let's go. We got two up there, and then we'll go up front.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer, for Chris and Josh. Last year, did you enjoy the moment coming in, and this year now being seniors and coming off what you came off last year, are you enjoying and embracing the moment more than you did last year?
I think it was harder last year to embrace it, just with, like I said, just not the pressure, but just everything that came around with, the first round exits, or the first weekend exit the last couple of years. So that was kind of hard to embrace, because we knew, no matter how we played, that first game, we knew we were going to have to, if we won that one, we knew we were going to have to answer that question, and we knew that was going to be the big, the big story and everything, the next couple of days. So, and now it's hard to do it now because now we have to, the questions about repeating. So, you can't really embrace it too much. Obviously, it's a blessing being able to be here. This isn't a privilege. But, that's what we got to just rely on each other and just focus on each other and don't focus on anything else. We got to embrace the time that we have together at the end. That's really the only thing we can really embrace.
Yeah, just like Josh said, just take it one game at a time, one day at a time, and we really enjoy being around each other, and we're looking forward to tomorrow.
Okay, we're going to go in the center middle, and then we'll go to Bucky right here.
Josh and Chris, this is Kevin Cooney, Calkins Media. The last time you guys were in this building was your freshman year against UConn with a shot to go to the Garden. How much is that game and what happened that year is still a little bit of a motivation when you get to this time of year?
Yeah, I remember that one vividly. Shabazz, that UConn team, they were tough and talented. But we try not to think about that too much now. Obviously, we knew we were playing Buffalo. It was kind of the first thing right when we heard Buffalo. It was like, oh, I remember when we went there freshman year. We played it. We had a tough game against UConn there. But now we don't really think about it. I think the only time we really thought about it was the first time when we heard, we'll probably be going to Buffalo. And it's like, oh, well, Buffalo. So.
Bucky Gleason with the Buffalo News. Chris or Josh or both, how much do you think that the perception of your team and your coach has changed? You win a national championship, and it's no longer this team can't win. Same with your coach. Can you take me through that a little bit? That now this guy, he was a good coach before, but somehow one win makes him better.
Had me answer everyone, huh? I guess there's one, the blessing about coach in this program is nothing ever really changes, and I think that's the biggest thing. No matter, if we were coming off, a national championship, year, or we were coming off, that when they were here for that 13 and 19 year, nothing in this program ever changes. The core values are still the same. The commitment, to our core values is still the same. So I think the only thing that might have changed is, his drilling in those core values a little bit more. Last year was, amazing just in terms of everyone buying in, and we saw, what can happen when we buy into Villanova basketball. That's something that Coach told us, after that happened. He was like, you guys thought I was crazy about our core values now. But, that's one thing about us, and nothing ever changes. We never talked about repeating this whole year. It was just about committing ourselves to Villanova basketball, buying in, and being the best team we can be at the end of the year.
Down front here.
Tom Withers, Associated Press. Chris, is there any downside at all in making one of the most iconic shots in the history of college basketball?
Is there any downside? Yeah, after I made the shot, it was a lot of downside. Just focus on, what else we have to do.
Is there any amusing thing that's happened to you though, just because of the shot? People coming up to you or anything like that?
Nah.
They come up to him everywhere.
That's it.
And if I could, Josh, how do you avoid complacency or being satisfied when you've won it all?
It starts with our coach, and it starts with us three, and then trickles on down. Coach is continuing to get on us, especially us three seniors. We got, at max, I think, 6 games left, possibly in our career. And, coach isn't like, okay, let them go. We've had some successful years. Let them just kind of do what we do. He's getting on us, and he's continuing to coach us, even at the end of our career. So, we're doing that. We're being coachable, and we're listening to everything he says. And it's, it goes from us, and it trickles on down. When those younger guys see, the seniors in their last, their last go around, last, couple weeks left of their college career, still, allowing themselves to be coached. That forces them to do it. And they're great guys, and they're going to follow our lead. But we know it starts with us three.
Let's go right here in the center, Dana, and then we'll go across the aisle.
Dana O'Neill, Darryl, I know you guys don't talk about repeat, but I mean, you have to think about it at some level. Do you allow yourself to even process that, get that into your head, because you know what you're going for?
Yeah, obviously, we would like to repeat. I think every team would want to win this tournament. It's not a team in this team in the tournament that wouldn't want to win. But just like before, just like we dealt with in the years past, you can't look too far behind or too far forward because you'll end up tripping on what you're doing right now. So, coaches try to drive that home and just focusing on the present, focusing on our next game. We could be thinking about repeating and completely overlook our next game, and you lose, and you don't even have a chance to make it to that point to be able to repeat. So it's just something we've been doing over the last couple of years, just making sure that we're focused on the next game and focused on what we can control at the moment.
We're here on the right, guys.
Jay Skursky with the Buffalo News. Chris, how many times have you relived that shot in your mind and thought about it? And for you personally, was it tough to maybe find motivation again this season, given that, that's like the ultimate dream for any player, and you've already lived it?
I only think about it or talk about it when I'm asked about it. And, it wasn't hard for me because I still have a lot that I want to accomplish, and I'm a part of this great team with these great guys and the guys in the locker room. So, when you have guys around you like that, it's easy to refocus.
Do you have a follow-up, Jay?
How much, for any of you guys, how much do you know about Mount St. Mary's and the history of the 1 versus 16 matchup?
Darryl, you want to take it?
Yeah. Cool. Our freshman year, I think we played Mount St. Mary's in the beginning of the year, so we got to see a little bit of their program at that point. We watched the game yesterday, they're a talented team. I think every team at this point is a talented, tough team, especially those teams like that have won their conference tournaments and stuff like that. They're a good team, man. They're a good team, like every team in this tournament. They play fast. They seem to play hard. They're disciplined in their coaching. Obviously, we know about the 116 matchup. The hype that's built around that. We understood that coming into this, but it's just part of this tournament. It's one of those things it's one of those questions you're gonna have to answer with this tournament. It's nothing to be upset about or anything like that. It's just you understand what it is and you move forward. Sorry if I wasn't talking loud enough. I just realized that I could have leaned a little bit forward and talked. Sorry, I see him in the back. I'm sitting here whispering. I'm sorry about that.
You're coachable. Good work. Other questions for our Villanova student athletes? Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
For Josh, you mentioned having a memory of coming to Buffalo. You guys have been here now since Monday. Do you guys sort of feel like, and you've gone through a Buffalo snowstorm, do you feel like an honorary Buffalonian at this point?
A little bit. I think I've yet to see the sun. So I hope that's not what it's like up here, all 365 days. But I mean, I like the warm weather. So I was about to say go back home, but I think it's snowing in Philly too. So I think we just gotta tough it through the last couple of weeks with the weather and everything. But I guess you could say we kind of feel like Buffalonians. I think that's what it is. So.
Okay, we got a question in the back there.
Matt Bove, WKBW. You feel like Buffalonians. What have you guys been doing in your free time? Obviously, you've got practice coming up, and you've been watching the game last night. But anything fun? Have you guys had any time to enjoy it?
Nothing really. We just relax. We all watched the movie. Was that Monday night? I think Monday night we got here. We watched the movie together. That was really about it. I wish we could tell you we had like this epic, snowball fight and it was amazing, but no, not really. We just been in our rooms, just relaxing, taking our mind off the tournament, and just enjoying each other's company.
All right, not seeing any more questions. Gentlemen, thanks for your time. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's not a word I'm trademarking. I'm patenting that word.
Joined by Villanova head coach Jay Wright. Coach, welcome back to Buffalo.
Thank you.
This is a regular stop for you. I think once at Hofstra and another time here.
2010.
Yeah.
It is great to be back in Buffalo. Love Western New York, and I think our team is excited about this upcoming game. It's pretty cool to watch a game together last night and watch our opponent in Mount St. Mary's, who's a tough team, great guards and very tough kids on their team. So it should be a good game.
With that, we'll open it up to questions. Please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. We'll start right here in the center.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer. Jay, Josh came in before and he said that it's been tough to embrace and enjoy an NCAA tournament when you guys never got by the first weekend, and now talking about repeat or whatever. Again, it's hard to do that. What would you tell your players about, enjoying the moment, especially your senior class who this is their last go-around?
He said it's hard to enjoy it because of that?
Enjoy it and embrace it,
yeah. I think what he means is in terms of enjoying all the lead up and all the hype, all that stuff, the open practices and this media, because I think they want to enjoy the end results. That's what they want to enjoy, and I think they understand that. I think they understand there's a commitment that you have to have during this time as you're preparing and playing games, and you can get to enjoy it, on the weekend if you get past the second game, and then you start it all over again.
We'll go Bucky, and then back.
Bucky Gleason, Buffalo News. Jay, is this a little bit weird for you at all when you come back here? There's the Rochester angle, there's the Bucknell side. You have been here before. You know this area, recruited here. I grew up with Rick Winnock, by the way, who you recruited. So,
Yeah, man.
what is it like for you when you come back here?
A lot of we just had the meeting, the coaches meeting, and Mike Bray's in there, and Buzz Williams and Huggins, and we've all. It seems like Hugs and Mike Bray and us have been at the same spot, for the last 3 years. I don't know how that works, but coming back to Western New York's always cool. I have great memories about starting at University of Rochester and recruiting a lot here in the Buffalo area. Not getting Greg Winnock, not getting the Turgalskis. It's all the guys I didn't get from this area. Trying to recruit Christian Laettner as a freshman, not knowing he was going to be that good. But I do like coming up here, and Bucknell being here is really cool too. We're really proud of Nathan and those guys. So yeah, a lot of connections here, and we're enjoying it. Also the Anchor Bar and Duff's, we like that too.
Jay, Kevin Cooney, Calkins Media. Last year, one of the lines you used in Brooklyn a lot was that you knew your team knew that you would be judged by whatever happened in the NCAA tournament, fairly or not. Do you still feel that way with this group because you've kind of climbed the mountaintop, or does it change at all?
That's something that we've discussed as a team. I just think in general, you're defined by what you did in the NCAA tournament as a college player. If you're a team that's getting there every year, the team and you as a player get defined that way nationally with fans, and that's okay. But we don't define our guys that way within our program, and I don't think they define themselves that way, and we want to make sure that. But it is the reality. There could be a guy that doesn't have a great career, but if he does something in the NCAA tournament, everybody remembers him forever. That's cool too.
Let's go Dana right here in front, and then we'll go to Mark, and then we'll go up front.
Dana O'Neill with ESPN. So this time last year, Jay, you're sitting up there and nobody thought you could get out of the first weekend. Now everybody wonders if you can repeat. Is one more difficult than the other? And the pressure that you faced last year, can that be at all applicable to the pressure you might face this year going forward?
Yeah, I don't know if one's harder than the other, Dana, but they're different. They're definitely different. There is, I would say, the same level of pressure, but it's a different kind of pressure. And in terms of being applicable, it definitely is. I think, pressure is pressure. So you want to embrace it and try to make it, allow it to make you better. And we had a different kind of pressure last year. It was like, that second round pressure was crazy. And this year it is about repeating. You're a 1 seed, and so you're supposed to win it if you're the 1 seed, right? So it's all about how you handle that. And I think having that pressure last year and having pressure this year, I think makes it a little bit easier to handle.
Let's go back here with Mark. Right there. No, behind you.
Hi, Mark Tracy, New York Times. On a lighter note, Coach Huggins earlier said that he used to be the best dressed coach, better than you, and then obviously he went a different way. And I guess on the flip side, I was going to ask you if you'd ever consider going without a tie. We have another tieless coach here in Mike Bray, and I was wondering how important the tie is to the coaching and to the image.
The reason that I dress that way is because it's just been the tradition, in coaching. You wear a suit and tie. But Hugs is, I would like to do an article sometime on the lines that Hugs gives me before the game when you shake hands about your attire, his look, your look. I just got it up there at the meeting. It's great. It could fill an article. He's got great lines. He's the best. And Mike, I remember when Mike used to go with the crew neck. He was a trendsetter with that. And then I think he and I had a discussion one summer, and I said to him, like, you got to go with the open collar, man. You can, that's the next look. I don't know if he did it because of that, but I know we had a discussion about that. It's important to all of us. And I like Hugs' look. When you wear a nice suit and you're in the huddle and they're sweating on your suit, the guys are dripping on top of you. I think, why am I wearing this suit? But it's tradition. We'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
Tom Withers, Associated Press. Jay, did you have to worry about this group being complacent or satisfied? Kind of the idea we won it all last year, maybe not having necessarily the drive that they needed.
Definitely. I was really concerned about that coming in this season. Obviously, I hadn't been a part of a national championship team before, so I didn't really know how to handle it. They hadn't. But I did talk to a lot of coaches, and everybody said to me, there is a definite hangover that you have to deal with. Don't deny it. Don't hide from it. It's going to be there. And it really is. And we talked about it all year. And I'm very proud of our 3 seniors, Josh and Daryl and Chris, and how, at 22 years old, they're able to handle the maturity of getting past it, taking on the next challenge, continuing to be humble and get better. Really proud of them. I don't think I could have done that at 22. Our staff jokes all the time. If we would have done what Chris Jenkins did last year, we would have been uncontrollable this year. And he was, all of them, very humble and coachable, and I'm really proud of them for that.
When do you feel like they shook that hangover, if there was one?
We discussed it when we came back from we all went to the ESPYs in July, which is kind of the end of the victory tour, It's the last event you go to after the White House, the state capitol. And we discussed it as a team because we were going on a trip to Spain. And hey, this trip to Spain starts the next year. That's over. And we went to Spain. It was great because no one knew who we were. They didn't know we were national champions. And it really gave us a fresh start, But when we got to the baggage claim in Philadelphia, and everyone saw that we were there, and they started coming up to us and taking pictures, and it hit all of us that, ooh, we're back in it. Okay, we're going to have to deal with this. But we did get a fresh start on the trip to Spain. It was really helpful to us.
Let me go back left here, and then we'll go to Bucky.
Jay, when you were in Rochester some 30 years ago and grinding away and hitting the recruiting trail, is this where you pictured yourself? Sitting here defending national?
10 years ago, I thought it was.
Right.
Nah, not at all. You know what? I would have been happy, if I could have been the guy that replaced Mike Neer at Rochester at that time. I was just so happy to be coaching. It seems crazy right now that you get to coach at Villanova, and you would have been but you didn't know any of this was possible, and I was having so much fun and enjoying being a coach so much. I loved University of Rochester. Mike Neer was a great coach. I really would have been. At that time, that was a big deal to me. Like, Mike Neer was God to me back then, like, wow, if I could ever do that someday, that was my thought process.
Kind of a combination of the previous 3 questions, both with your dress. I talked to your tailor today, by the way, Gabriel.
We got to get him under control.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. Did you know, by the way, that he coached his church league team to second place like 40 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you did. Anyway, and the attention paid. I mean, now you have people, I'm calling your tailor. People are talking about your suits. How has your life changed? When you look at the tournament, you were criticized before for not winning enough in the tournament, and then all of a sudden, you win one game, one
Right.
shot,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so much has changed. If you can take me through that.
It hasn't really changed that much. Just with the the media and in basketball venues. That's about it. In my household, please trust me, I'm like number 5 on that list. In there, I still take out the trash, do everything I'm told to do. But it really hasn't, except in situations like this. When you talk with the media. But I think I'm the same guy. I think in the program we all try to stay the same. I talk about our players. We try to enjoy the journey that we're on. This is why we do what we do, is to be a coach and to be with your players and to be on a college campus, and to be at practice. That's what we love, and it's still the biggest part of my life.
Sorry. The perception has changed.
Yeah.
I guess, right?
Yeah,
Is that kind of a weird?
I'm not as articulate as you guys. That's what I meant to say.
You don't know me very well. Is that a weird kind of transformation to see how others view you? Gets altered, even though you wake up the same way.
Yeah, but as you said, we were criticized a lot for losing in the second round, and I really wasn't. I wasn't feeling bad about what we were doing. I actually felt really good about what we were doing. I was disappointed every time we lost that game, but where our program was, our guys were graduating. We were winning Big East championships. Our guys were giving their best effort. I was good. I felt really good about what we were doing. So when people were criticizing us, if I was feeling good, then when people are praising us, I really shouldn't feel any better. You don't just take it on one side. So that's really, I think, why I hope we're getting changed.
So let's go Jay, and then we'll go across the aisle to Dana.
Jay Skursky with the Buffalo News. You spoke earlier about pressure. Is there a unique type of pressure that comes with being the 1 seed in a 1 versus 16 matchup?
Yeah, there's. I don't know if it's a top seed, but there's a 1-16 pressure, and we've felt it before. I told our team about we were a 1 seed, and actually the Philly guys I might be wrong on this. I count on our media for details. But we played Monmouth. Were we a 1? We played Monmouth in the Wells Fargo Center where we play our home games. They were a 16 seed, and they made a run on us in the second half, and the whole building turned on us. And it was like a Monmouth home game in our arena. I was shocked. I never had experienced that. We had never been a 1 seed, but everybody was going for the underdog. And that's a crazy kind of pressure there, especially when you're on your home court. And you just know it. You know those teams can get it going, and they put a game pressure on you when you're a 1 seed. I mean, you just got to be ready for it, and you've got to overcome that too.
And just to follow up on Chris, you mentioned earlier, or he was up here earlier and mentioned that he doesn't think about the shot unless he's asked about it. That's kind of, I find that to be unbelievable. I mean, I don't think I'd ever stop thinking about it, but how is that just his personality that he's able to put it aside?
Well, I think it's more his intelligence. He's a confident, cocky in a good way kid. But we talked about it right after the season, and he's real bright. He's really bright. So when we talked about, you still got a year left, you want to get better, you've got this for the rest of your life, he just right away internalizes that. But I'm amazed. I watch for this. When the guys do shooting drills at the end of practice or they're doing competitions, you would think one time it would slip. I hit the big shot, I've never, ever seen him mention it, ever. And it's really impressive.
Dana.
Jay, in an era now when players are kind of coming and going because of one and done and things, do you think a program such as yours is more equipped to repeat than perhaps others that we might think would look like more likely repeat champions?
That's good. I hope so. I hope our experience, I hope our experience is really valuable in this, and usually what gives you a chance to repeat is a lot of returning players, a lot of returning good players. When Florida repeated, that entire team came back to repeat. Now, our team didn't come back to repeat, and we lost 2 great seniors. But we do have I think the key is the number of quality players returning, you know, and as you say, because of one and done, if you're going to lose a lot of those guys, you're not going to have the quality players returning. So I hope it is an advantage for us.
In the back, Matt.
Jay, Matt Bove, WKBW. We keep going back to the wardrobe. Windsor, double Windsor, and is a pocket square necessary?
Straight Windsor. No, it's not always necessary. You know, it depends on the outfit.
TV guys are asking
that. We all good?
Any other questions for Coach?
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.
I want to recognize Mike Sheridan, Villanova Athletic Communications Director, who can help you with any of your other needs. Coach, good luck tomorrow.